Now, babies need burping in breastfeeding and in bottle feeding, halfway through a feed and at the end of the feed. What happens is they swallow a whole lot of air as they're feeding, and what they need is they need help to burp up the wind. So, babies have some signs that you can see clearly to tell you that the baby has got wind. Firstly, they'll be crying. Okay, if the wind and the milk are all mixed up together in their stomach and the baby feels really uncomfortable. Another sign is a blue discoloration around the mouth, around the lips. And the other sign you can see is they sometimes pull up their knees right up to their chest. Another point to remember is that the cardiac sphincter, which is the muscle that controls the top of the stomach, is pretty weak right now. Or lax, that's another way to describe it. And sometimes, because the cardiac sphincter is so weak, the babies can posit or spit up. Okay, they don't spit up very much, but they just spit up a little bit, about half a teaspoon. That's really common, and it's not to be worried about. But if the baby is vomiting more often than that, then I'd be talking to your doctor or your local healthcare professional. There are 3 main positions that you can use. The first is the sitting position. Babies need to be sitting upright a little bit, so have a good firm hold of their tummies and head. Lean the baby slightly forward and pat or rub. The second position is on your arm, and it's almost like a cuddle position, okay? And she's actually going to rest on my arm like that. I've got a firm grip of her. Both arms are over, and you can pat. And the third is up over your shoulder. Now you hold her hind quarter comfortably and pat with the other hand.
Imagine having a car alarm that lives in your own house. It goes off regularly during the day and night. And imagine that you have to pick up the car alarm and cuddle it and kiss it. You sing to it and mumble soothing words, and guess what? It just gets louder. That's what a baby in full cry mode is like. Ooh, yeah.
It can be very distressing listening to a baby cry. It's even worse when that baby is yours. Remember though, babies only have one way of communicating with you at this point, and that's crying. You need to try and work out why that baby's crying. They cry because they're hungry. They cry because they are uncomfortable, too hot or cold, lying in a pooey or wet nappy. They may have a tummy ache. They may be overtired or overstimulated. Or they may just want your attention or would like a cuddle. Newborn babies do not cry because they are spoiled or are trying to drive you crazy. Always check a crying baby to make sure they're all right. Crying because the baby is hungry. The baby will be turning their head from side to side with the mouth open and sucking a fist or anything else that the mouth comes in contact with. This is when breastfeeding is great, as the milk is instantly available, so get the baby over to the breast fast. If the baby is bottle feeding, you can anticipate that they will be wanting a feed and get it ready. Crying because the baby is uncomfortable. Check that the baby has not rolled into an uncomfortable position where perhaps the face is being obstructed. Check that the baby is not too hot or cold and correct the situation as appropriate. If the baby has a tummy ache or wind pain, they'll be drawing up their knees. You can try winding the baby. Another technique that can help settle a baby is swaddling. Some babies like to feel cozy, like when they were in the womb, and this can stop them keeping themselves awake by throwing their arms and legs all over the place. Only swaddle a baby in the early months, as it could impede development if continued for a long time. Place the baby on their back to sleep. Some parents find playing soothing music or music that imitates the sounds of the blood flowing in the womb to be helpful. Rhythmical rocking of the baby can be helpful. A pacifier or dummy can be used to help soothe the crying baby. But just remember that if breastfeeding is not yet well established, the sucking motion may confuse the baby and he may have trouble attaching to the breast and may not establish breastfeeding. If you have checked out all possible reasons why the baby is crying and the crying persists, remind yourself that you've done your best, and the fact that the baby is still crying doesn't mean that you are a failure. The babies of experts like paediatricians and midwives also cry. If you ever feel that the baby's crying is driving you to a point where you might lose control, place the baby in a safe place, like the cot, and leave the room. Go and get help. Don't go and handle the baby until you've calmed down. Warning: never shake a baby. This can lead to brain damage and even to death. As a parent, it's good to know what you can do to reduce the risk of sudden infant death syndrome, otherwise known as SIDS.
That's pretty good, just like that, hey?
There's a baby in there somewhere, isn't there?
Uh-huh.
Look, you got too many things in this cot.
All right, leave the teddies.
No. Take the teddies out. Take this head bumper out as well. You need to see the baby, not the toys, okay?
Oh, right, okay.
Okay. The other thing you have to do is make sure that the mattress is nice and firm and that the baby's brought right down here, down this end, not the top end, or she can get caught up in the blankets. Now that's better, because she's not going to be able to slide down or crawl down the bed any further.
So no doona?
No doona at all. Just these light blankets in a well-ventilated room. In summer, if it's winter, the room has to be warm, but ventilation still needs to pass through.
Uh-huh.
Also ensure that the baby sleeps in a smoke-free environment. Remember to place the baby on their back to sleep. Do not fall asleep on the couch with your baby, as this increases the risk of a sleeping accident occurring. Some research has found that a baby who sleeps in the same room as the parents during the first 6 months of life is less likely to develop SIDS. For further information on how to reduce the risk of SIDS, you can contact your doctor or midwife, infant health nurse, or SIDS organisation worldwide. Before being able to take the baby out, you'll need to pass the pram exam.
Yes! You beauty!
Going out with a baby for even the shortest trip means you need to pack for a short holiday. It requires great organisation. You'll need to pack a baby bag with all the things you're likely to need for the trip. For example, change of clothes, spare nappies and equipment for nappy changing, wipes, etc. A spare blanket, soothers and feeding equipment if the baby's not breastfed, as well as a toy or something to use to entertain the baby. The baby must not be left unsupervised in the car for even a minute. Using a backpack or front pouch can make life easier. When shopping, it's a good idea to choose a large shopping centre if possible. They're likely to have all the shops you need in one place, and they'll also have a baby care room where you can attend to dirty nappies. Don't try wheeling the pram onto escalators. Use the lift instead.
Hey babe, how would you feel about going upstairs and... No? Well?
No. Just kidding. I never realised the enormity of what having a baby really meant. These have been some of the most wonderful experiences of my life, and also some of the most difficult, as my body is going through all sorts of hormonal changes, getting back to its pre-pregnant state. The ongoing, interrupted sleep, day after day, night after night, week after week, is really wearing me down. There are times when I feel really overwhelmed. I struggle to do things on my own. That's why I need you now. The baby and I need you so much now.
You can't control a newborn baby. Learning to be a parent is a slow process and you have to work together. It is at this time that your partner needs more support than ever before. According to well-known parenting author Steve Biddulph, start early. Get involved in baby care right from the start. This is a key time for relationship building. As he points out, parenting as a team also creates a deeper bond between partners. The fact is, men bring different things to parenting, things that are unique and irreplaceable. Don't underestimate your importance. No matter how much mum-baby stuff seems to be going on around you, you are vital to your baby's well-being. And again, Steve Biddulph says, fathering is the best thing you are ever likely to do, for your own satisfaction and joy, and for its effect on the future of other human beings. And it's good fun.
The baby!
Baby!